Hi everyone, and welcome back. Now today we're going to talk more about the importance of nutrition. Now, processed foods are often promoted as healthy, delicious and convenient. Delicious and convenient they certainly can be, but long term they are very seldom a healthy option. As we've mentioned, most of the nutritious chemicals, fibre, natural fats, vitamins and enzymes end up being destroyed in the manufacturing process. Now, interestingly, the half-finished product doesn't taste that good as it's yet to be packed with salt, sugar, fats and chemicals for specific tastes and looks. But the finished yummy products, and yummy they certainly are, simply do not have the nutrients required for our body to function properly long term. Now that means the human animal simply can't survive solely on processed foods. There have been several public examples of this, such as the medical journalist Dr. Michael Mosley, you may remember him, who recently died of other causes, and the guy who chose to eat the well-known hamburger chain products every day to prove they were nutritious. Interestingly, after several weeks, both were having emotional issues and their blood samples were heading into dangerous territory. So they stopped the studies. Now, interestingly, by changing back to nutritious food, their blood samples immediately began showing signs of their body moving back towards a healthy state at all levels. Now, that is really good to know. And what about the large amounts of sugar and wheat or flour products, such as pastry, bread, cakes, pizza, ice cream, lollies, jam, etc., that we love to eat? Well, again, as we've mentioned, these foods not only lack all the necessary nutrients, but they contain toxic levels of glucose to make them super sweet. And the glucose molecule is very tricky and a good reason why we humans have evolved to need only tiny amounts. Okay, so why is that? Well, as a natural chemical reaction, sugar and flour products all break down to pure glucose. One glucose molecule locks up 54 vitamin C molecules. So in no time, vitamin C, in this case, is in short supply inside our body. And in no time again, there is not enough available for our body to utilize and function as it should. When vitamin C becomes deficient in our body, it creates huge internal stress because it is a crucial element for our survival. And our reptilian brain wraps up our stress response to catch our attention to fix the problem. So why is vitamin C, as one example of the hundreds of different elements, considered by our body to be crucial for our survival? Well, for example, it plays a vital role in 300 plus different chemical processes, including being used to make the specialist immune system cells which flood through our body every night while we're asleep. It is crucial for supporting the connective tissue in our arteries and lining of the lungs and in the walls of every cell in our body. It is used in the manufacture of the same stress hormones that get us so wound up, such as cortisol and adrenaline. And during stressful periods in our life, which includes the changes in the seasons and even the different seasonal tasks, such as calving and lambing time and haymaking, grief and trauma. In fact, anything stressful, then we require heaps more than the recommended daily requirement of 140 milligrams per day. I mean, that's the amount to prevent you from getting rickets, which is an old-fashioned bone disease, and is the common health industry recommendation, compared to 4,000 milligrams plus per day if we are stressed. But who is going to tell us that? Now, it turns out that it's not the job of our health system. Okay, that's good to know. And just to make it even more of a priority, we must remember that vitamin C, magnesium, and the vitamin B complex, which are all locked up by excessive glucose consumption, are all water soluble. Now that means they can't be stored inside our body because they are continually being passed out by sweating and urine. So it is very difficult to take on too much. Now, when stressed, we tend to sweat and urinate more often. I mean, everybody does. Now, if we can't get what we require by having a better daily diet, then we must add to our diet specific supplements, which we buy, at least until we get through those stressful periods. For specific reasons, common basic nutrient shortages in the Western world, which includes us, include magnesium, sodium, vitamin C, potassium, all of the B complex, zinc, vitamin D3, the sunshine, selenium, iodine, and essential fatty acids. All elements on that small list are crucial for good sleep, a healthy beneficial bacteria colony, a strong healthy immune system, and a balanced sense of mental and emotional well-being. Now that means if you are struggling with any stressful response in your life, then make certain you are at the least getting those nutrients, and in large amounts, and that's why we use supplements. Now supplements are not gobbledygook. It's all sound science. However, the advertising and marketing of them can certainly sound like gobbledygook at times. Now, notice we've just mentioned the 4 foundation stones for good health again. We mention them all the time, and it's the same for all of us humans, and it doesn't matter where you are living in the world, from the South Pacific to the steppes of Siberia and well beyond. Now get this. When we consume large amounts of glucose, one place it travels directly to is our bone marrow, where the specialist defensive cells of our immune system are located. High levels of glucose hugely interferes with their ability to protect us, which means glucose interferes with our immune system. And that is one reason why many overweight individuals have a poor immune response to infections. Now, consider this. A diet high in sugar and processed carbohydrates promotes the growth in our body of a species of bacteria called Firmicutes. In small numbers, they are no problem, but when they're allowed to flourish, we can end up with infections and other health issues. They thrive on the glucose in the sugar and the flour products, and their byproducts include an acid, the same acid that rots our teeth. Now they further create an acid environment inside our body, which also kills off the beneficial bacteria, which upsets the natural balance or ratio of these two. All that creates a sense of stress in our body, which activates the good old-fashioned stress response time and time again. And get this, we think we are choosing the sweet comfort foods because we want to. Well, as it turns out, those sugar-loving bacteria send a signal to our brain to select more sweet foods for them, not us, and we do. Now, one more quick one. Recent studies have confirmed the link between the high consumption of processed foods, high in refined carbohydrates, and anxiety and depression. And it was first noticed in young people like students who had high levels of brain activity. Fortunately, it was also discovered that their mental and emotional issues reversed within weeks. That's right, weeks, simply by eradicating the bad high glucose diet that students tend to swing towards and feeding them the nutrient-rich natural foods we all need. And that was also confirmed by studies done at our world-famous Canterbury University. And that is great news, don't you think? Okay, that's enough for now. Food for thought, I hope. Whoops, there it goes again. Now, in the next video, we'll talk more interesting facts about nutrition and the food we eat. If you're liking these videos, then press the like button and subscribe. And remember, it's free. And on Facebook, share it with your friends and let's be friends. Okay, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.